Chris Christie has a PR problem. There it is, using one of the state's new helicopters.
And New Jersey Governor Chris Christie under fire today for using a state helicopter
as he tries to leave behind what some have dubbed Coptergate.
Riding in style is already coming back to haunt the fiscal conservative.
And what a controversy it is, really.
A Star-Ledger editorial called him Governor Whirlybird. Charlie Style wrote that the chopper should be renamed Hubris One.
These are some of the dumb things that this governor does from time to time that can hurt his public image. He made an issue out of the campaign. During his campaign for governor, he was highly critical of the use of the state police helicopters. They are expensive to fly. The reason his schedule was tight was he was taking off early from the baseball game to come back to Princeton to meet with a group of Iowa Republican fundraisers who were trying to convince him to run for president. That's why his schedule was tight.
The people of the state of New Jersey should not be required to pick up the tab so he can meet with Iowa donors. He's a governor who, as U.S. attorney, would rail against elected officials blurring the line. But this governor has selective memory and selective outrage.
Facing cries of hypocrisy, the hard-charging, budget-cutting chief executive of New Jersey had to cut a check of his own, reimbursing the state $2,100 for using a government helicopter for private purposes.
And think about this. He writes a check for $2,100 to pay for a helicopter ride. But a family that makes more than $5,300 in an entire year is too rich to get Medicaid.
Half of these, whatever the number is, of these helicopter trips had them going into New York. Oh, that's nice. You kill the tunnel, but, I don't have to worry about a tunnel. I can fly over the top of everybody.
Some of those were borderline political appearances,
I'm just
right?
saying, come on.
The whole list of flights was released yesterday.
Come on, we don't have money to do this. We don't have money to do it. We don't have money for women's health care. We don't have money for unemployment benefits. We don't have money for all these things, but we got money to put the governor in a helicopter and fly him all over the state.
This is not going away for Governor Chris Christie.
It's a little hypocritical, don't you think?
Definitely hypocritical.
This was a very poor decision, a poor choice on his part, and he's paid it back, but I think that was only after the fact.
Christie insisted that the flights were a justified taxpayer expense. That was before the New Jersey Star-Ledger weighed in with an editorial on the subject. Call it Sanctimonious One, the taxpayer-funded helicopter which Governor Chris Christie didn't hesitate to use at our expense for a joyride or several. While everyone else, by the governor's decree, must tighten belts and do without things like health care for women and tax rebates for seniors, for example, Christie thought it was okay for taxpayers to cough up $1,000 or $2,000 so he could take the flying limousine to a battlefield. Now we know why, to a ball field. Now we know why he can't imagine what it's like to walk a mile in the shoes of regular New Jerseyans. He doesn't even walk 100 yards in his own. That is a reference to the governor traveling 100 yards in a limousine from the helicopter landing spot.
And this, for Chris Christie, is unfortunately part of a long history. And when he was the U.S. attorney from New Jersey, he was known for spending $475 a night at the Four Seasons here in Washington, $800 for rides back and forth from the airport.
It's about the appearance of impropriety. This is a tone-deaf sort of move. The real point is it appropriate for a government official, either the federal, state, or local, to use a taxpayer-funded aircraft on something that clearly was not a governmental event?
The point is, as the Star-Ledger was pointing out, that he's asked other New Jerseyans to do without. So, for example, half of these 33 flights, more or less, were to appointments he had in New York. Well, this is the guy that killed the Hudson River Tunnel to New York. What does he care about traffic in the Hudson River Tunnel if he can take a helicopter to New York?
The thing is that there are current rules, and he knows what those rules are, and then when he gets caught, he redefines the rule.